Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Militan Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Anupeta Apeta Krityam Rapaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tan Mayataya Tadavo Binedus Tam Savabhutam Hridayam Unimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Abhaktya Vihina Padada Lakshai Kiptashtakamari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanda Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Tave Vasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we will begin by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Bhavishta Om Vishnupada Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Bhavishta Om Vishnupada Tarsat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, under our exalted Rupanuga Varga and all the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, Jai. So we have a treat today, the last day, here for a while. So I thought I would read something special. This comes from a book compiled by Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, the biography of Bhakti Prajnana Kesava Goswami Maharaj. And it's an incredible thing. If you want to read and understand everything about Gaudiya Vedanta philosophy and history, you read that book. It's just incredible. Gurudev put everything into it that he could, having heard from his Guru Maharaj. So many deep conceptions that are the specialties of this line coming from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and especially the line coming through Bhakti Prajnana Kesava Maharaj, shared with Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and our Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. All these specialities are within their life and teachings as well. And so I'm reading from page 358 of that book, and it's about Mangala Arati and the story of the song we sing. What does it actually mean? What is the opportunity we gain by singing this song and being present before the deity at that time? Because you know, our aspiration is to enter into Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous loving devotional service, to awaken our Siddha Deha, our spiritual identity, and serve in that internally conceived form. To be able to serve like that in meditation, and all of our external service would reflect that realization in those moods. Incredibly connected and empowered. But on the stage of Vaidhi Bhakti, sadhan and sadhya are the same thing. It's just that sadhan is less developed bhakti, right? So you have to know what it is we're aspiring for, that goal, that prayojana, so that the abhideya, the practice, is aligned with that. So going to Mangala Aratika for us at different stages in Bhakti has different realizations, different levels of appreciation, or no appreciation at all. Sometimes there's no appreciation, so people don't go. If you really know what Mangala Aratika is, and you really want Bhakti, you would go. You would want to go. Obviously there are some times when you can't, but there's one story Srila Prabhupada was preaching, I think it was Central America, and they were, then they went to another place by flight, and they got to that other place rather late, and had late prasad, and they went to bed quite late. And the next morning there's Mangala Aratika, and all of the people that were, all the devotees, disciples that were traveling with Srila Prabhupada, they didn't go to the Mangala Aratika. And Srila Prabhupada says, why was no one in Mangala Aratika? You must go to Mangala Aratika. He said, you must. Didn't say you should. He said, you must. He said, you came back very late, you're tired, sleep later, just wake up, go to the Mangala Aratika, then go back and take rest if you need it. Sometimes maybe you're sick, right? Or the schedule won't permit it, but mostly you go. And don't listen to your mind, because every morning my mind tells me, I'm sick, I'm too tired, I can't go, my whole day will be ruined if I get up now, I should wait, and then I'll get up later, no harm. And then I go, bam, hit that mind, roll over, offer those obeisances, You should always offer your obeisances to your Guru Parampara before your feet hit the ground, and beg to all of them for the mercy to do your seva nicely in that day. And if you have that mentality and you do it regularly, they will help you. They will help you. Everybody's going through the same thing, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, beat your mind with a broom every morning, otherwise it's not your friend, especially at that time. Once you get going, right, warm up, the mind, sort of like an old body. It takes a little while to warm up, right, or an old car. It's in a cold morning. Somehow get it started. And then it'll warm up, and then it'll run, and then everything goes good, right? But the mind is not very cooperative at this stage. Later on, it will be. So just, you can even have fun with it. Oh, mind, here we go again. You're telling me this. Oh, listen. Just like Raghunath Das in Manashiksha, right? Oh, mind, he prays. Every verse, oh, mind. And he gives instruction to the mind. Why are you tormenting me, a poor jiva? Right? Align yourself with the service of Radha Krishna, with our acharyas, right? Take shelter of the Vaishnavas, of the eternal associates. Serve them all. Be happy. The mind is a miserable thing. It's very unhappy. So, let's hear what... Do you need a light at all? No, I don't, because I'm not reading a book. And, huh? Yeah, but it's got plenty of light. It works better with this. It washes me out, right? Maybe I should put makeup on before the class, just to make sure there's no shiny spots and my lips can be seen, a little eyeliner. But it'll be all right. So, now listen to this. This is the introduction. This is the pastime that's taking place. We stated earlier that our most revered Srila Gurupada Padma was a Rasik poet as well as a self-realized philosopher. I, the author, shall now present some verses from his Mangala Arati song, by which we can easily understand how Rasik a poet he really was. Now remember, this Bhakti Kesava is very close with our Srila Prabhupada. They stayed together for some time after the diaspora of the Gaudiya Math, when different devotees had to leave. Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Kesava Maharaj stayed together for quite some time. And in later years, there's a beautiful dialogue with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and our Srila Prabhupada, wherein they're talking about Bhakti Kesava Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada calls him Vinod Bhai. Vinod was his brahmachari name, right? Bhai means brother. And even though he'd been a sannyasi and had actually given sannyas to Srila Prabhupada is remembering and feeling that confidential brotherly relationship with him, right? And he spoke so highly of him so many times. Srila Gurudev said they were like one soul in their conception. I could tell many stories about them together, but we have to read this. We get to read this. So, Sri Sri Radha Krishna's Nishanta Leela, their pastimes at the end of the night. This is being described in a confidential way. Ordinary sadhaks cannot imbibe these profound emotions into their hearts. Only some elevated Raganuga Vaishnavas can understand these meanings. So, you won't understand it all in the beginning, but something will come into the heart. Srila Narayan Maharaj says that practicing bhakti attentively, consistently, it will grow in your heart very much like a man who works in a candle factory. Over the course of the day, dipping, holding wet candles, hot candles, gradually, layer after layer of wax forms on his hand by association with those candles. So by association with bhakti, these things will come up. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said something very beautiful one time. He said that the realizations you have in the beginning stages when you're a Kanishta devotee, and even in Kanishta there are so many divisions, broadly broken down into the beginning, right, Kanishta, the middle of Kanishta, a little more developed, Kanishta Madhyam, and Kanishta Uttam, when you're trying to break through towards Nishta, right? He said those realizations in Kanishta, when you enter into Madhyam, and it also has hundreds, thousands of divisions, it's not like dunk, 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 subtle, gradual development. He said that the realizations in Madhyam so far surpass the way we perceive and experience in Kanishta. And when you come to Uttam, even that Madhyam level seems so much less developed, which it is compared to Uttam. So we're ordinary sadhaks right now. At what level? You'll have to determine. You can study. But so don't expect when you come to Mangala Arati that you're going to be filled with what's being talked about here. However, if you hear what this is, when you sing the song and you meditate on the meaning, you'll be greatly appreciative. And you'll begin to develop an awakening of the desire to be in this Leela, a desire to experience the emotions. And that's a big step. That's a big step. That's the beginning, that desire, that's that lobe. Tattva lolyam api mulyam ekalam. That greed, it means increased desire, a sense of urgency, longing for that. And how can you long for something if you don't know anything about it? How can you long for something if you don't participate in it? So, the eternal pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna have been divided into 8 periods. Wait a minute, I gotta make this bigger. How do I do that? Oh, here we go. No! Not that. This. Okay. That's better. The eternal pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna have been divided into 8 periods. Ashta Kaliya Leela. So that Raganuga sadhaks can remember and contemplate them. Just pardon me once more, I've got to make this. Oh, that's okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Nope, 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 nope. I guess that's as good as it gets. Okay. Yeah, make sure. Okay, sorry. 8 periods. 1, Nishanta, the end of the night. 2, Prata, dawn. 3, Purvana, morning. 4, Madhyana, midday. 5, Aparana, early afternoon. 6, Shayam, evening. 7, Pradosh, first part of the night. And 8, Madhya Ratri Leela, pastimes in the middle of the night. And the advanced devotee will actually perform their sadhana, their actual bhajan now, and throughout the different periods of the day, the pastimes that go along with that period of the day will come into their heart, and they'll be meditating on them. We were on a morning walk one time with Srila Narayan Maharaj, and he said, what's Krishna doing right now? And everybody gave their different opinion. Always milking the cows, always still in bed, always taking breakfast. And he defined it. Oh, well, it's this time, and this is what he'll be doing. So, Mangala Arati is connected with Nishanta Leela, the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Jugal that take place in the last part of night before dawn. Descriptions of Nishanta Leela are found in Sri Sanat Kumar Samhita, in the Padma Purana, and in the books of the Goswamis. Srila Rupa Goswami has described these eightfold pastimes in a condensed form, while Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has described them in detail in his Sri Govinda Lilamrita, as has Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Sri Krishna Bhavanamrita. Here we shall give a very brief overview of Nishanta Leela. So we're given this introduction now. So Gurudev would say at this point, lend me your ears, give your attention, right? Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal are tired after their midnight pastimes and are sleeping in a charming kunja, or a forest bower. Some special sakis, carrying in their hands the articles and ingredients required for their service at that time, are waiting for Sri Jugal Kishore to wake up. Who are the special sakis? These are the special manjaris under the direction of Sri Rupa Manjari, who can enter the kunja at that time. This particular service does not involve the Ashtasakis. They may be waiting outside, they may be nearby, but this intimate service, Radhika would be embarrassed if her intimate friends came and saw her with Krishna in that way, because they're also in this mood of Sambhog Ichamai, right? They all are beloveds of Krishna, and they give him pleasure by acting in the role of direct lover. Whereas the Manjaris are tat bhav ichamai. They don't want to meet with Krishna directly. They want to give him the pleasure of calm by assisting Radhika. And that is a very high service. And for that, they're not tasting what it's like to be with Krishna directly with them, but they get this extraordinary benefit, this blessing, that Radhika's own moods come into their heart, transferred. Her symptoms come into them. It's amazing. So they're coming in to the forest. So on our altar, the Manjaris there, Rupa and Rati. But this is the general kunja. This is during the day, our seva kunj here. This is not representative because Lalita and Vishaka are also there. So, anyway, these Manjari Sakis, they come in, and they're waiting for Sri Yugal Kishore to wake up. The cool and gentle early morning breeze kissing each and every flower, has become intoxicated with their fragrance and now is moving unsteadily. Dira Samira. That's just the way the wind blows when it's intoxicated with prem. Buzzing bumblebees wake up quickly and roam from flower to flower, also kissing them. The whole atmosphere of Vrindavan is becoming enchanted by the aroma of these blossoming flowers. Sri Vrindadevi becomes worried when she sees Jugal Kishore Kishori still sleeping. Aho, the sun is just about to rise now, and this couple is still sleeping happily, bound to each other in tight embrace. Seeing this, she becomes worried and orders Vrindavan's birds, such as Shuk and Sari, the male and female parrots, the cuckoos, peacocks, and papihas. Wake them up with your sweet songs. Otherwise, they will be put into embarrassment when everyone else wakes up. Because in other words, they have to get back to their house before everyone's waking so that they're not discovered. Where have you been? What are you just coming in now for? Have you been out all night? No, so this creates an urgency. Oh my gosh, I got to get back. So, as soon as the birds hear Sri Vrindadevi's orders, they all sing in their sweet voices about the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Krishna's pastimes and begin to wake them up. Meanwhile, some of the Pranaprishta Sakis become enchanted while peering through a small opening in the bushes in the kunja. In their jubilation upon seeing the incomparable, lustrous beauty of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, they begin to perform arti with their eyes. That's a very beautiful conception also. When we offer a lamp, it represents our vision. The lamp is light, right, and illuminates, but it's the light of the love-filled heart. So even in this world, they talk about the love in your eyes, right? See the love in your eyes. So these devotees, these beautiful gopis, just by their glance, they're offering arti to Krishna, looking at his feet, up to his knees, his thighs, his waist, right? His beautiful chest, his beautiful face, and they're just looking over his whole beautiful form, and that of Radhika as well. And because it's all love-filled, they're doing artik like that. Although the divine couple have been awakened by the sweet chirping of the birds, they do not want to get up from their bed for fear of losing the happiness of their deep embrace. That's not like us. We don't want to get up from bed for fear of losing the happiness of Tamagun, right? Or some dream that they're having, right? Today is really weird. I had this phrase, usually sometimes you don't know what kind of dream you're going to have. But today, it was some kind of thing where in a temple, not this temple, but it was kind of like a new temple or something, and somebody came in with a white bull, right? And I'm standing by the curtains, and they weren't opened yet, and this white bull comes in, and then he goes in behind the curtains. It was a young bull, like a calf, and he was running around and everything, and then I was doing Jayadwani, and then I woke up.
Nandi Maharaj gave you darshan.
Maybe. Maybe it was, one of Mother Jashoda's special cows, Nanda Baba's, because could have been Nandi, but it wasn't big enough to be Nandi. It was a calf. And they'd use calves for special ceremonies and stuff. And it was all symbolic. It's not like I'm having some internal vision. It's just a kind of encouragement, So they don't want to get up, though, because they're in this special kind of embrace and ecstasy together. And they know that when they get up, they're going to have to separate. So they're resisting that, right? Our waking up means we have an opportunity to actually embrace Radha and Krishna and their associates and our gurus with our eyes and our service mood. So our not wanting to wake up is of a different caliber. It's the other side of the scale. So at last, on the request of the male and female parrots, they sit up. Svadina Bhartrika, Srimati Radhika, requests her dearmost Sri Krishna to rearrange her garments and ornaments, and Dhira Lalita Krishna complies with her request. Svadina Bhartrika means that heroine who can control her lover, right? Special quality of Radhika. And Dhira Lalita, there's different kinds of qualities of heroes, 4 different kinds, and Krishna at different times he has all of them, but he will manifest this. And this is the hero who is submissive to his lover. Very charming, all good qualities, but he's very happy to comply with her request. It creates a very special relationship. According to his mood as a hero, and according to her mood as a heroine, it creates all kinds of different emotional dynamics in the exchange of their love. So the Sakis, these special Manjari Sakis, right? Prana Sakis, Prana Preshta Sakis, enter the Kunja. They approach the divine couple and sweetly conversing, they begin their respective services. Suddenly, the female parrot, Kakati, loudly calls out, Jatila! Right? Upon hearing this, Sri Radha Krishna become anxious due to the mellow of transcendental fear and longing. Right? They return to their respective homes and sleep for some time. Sri Rupa Goswami's condensed verse is as follows. There's a long verse here. I'll continue to read the English. But Srila Narayan Maharaj is giving the evidence for this. Many different Vaishnava acharyas in the Sri Gaudiya Sampradaya have written Mangala Arati songs of Sri Radha Krishna Jugal. However, my most worshipful Srila Gurudev's Mangala Arati has its own unprecedented and unique speciality. By singing this Mangala Arati, one is infused with the moods of Sri Radha Krishna's Nishanta Leela in a way which cannot be found anywhere else. So that's the benediction in that song, that the seeds and the nourishment of that very special Leela will be infused. And gradually, like that wax building up. Yeah. And then Mangala Arati becomes a very pleasurable experience, right? You're not, once you get into the temple room and the deity's open, then all the cobwebs and all the fatigue and all the disinterest, it will just fly away, drop aside. And when you gaze upon the beautiful form of Radha and Krishna and their loving associates, flanked by our gurus on each side of the kunja, you become very happy, right? So then he's going to give a translation of Mangala Shri Guru Gaura Mangala Murati Mangala Shri Radha Krishna Jugala Praditi. All glories to the auspicious forms of Sri Guru and Sri Gaura Sundar, and all glories to Sri Radha Krishna's auspicious amorous love. So even before singing this song and doing Mangala Arati, we're offering obeisance to Sri Guru and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who give us their mercy to enter into this Leela. You can't enter into the Leela of Radha and Krishna except through service to Mahaprabhu and the mood of Dasya. And the service of Mahaprabhu is given to us through Nityananda Prabhu. The service of Nityananda Prabhu is given to us by our own gurus who are representatives of him. So all glories to Sri Guru and Gaura, and the beautiful Mangala Arati, and to Radha and Krishna and their amorous love. Mangala Nishanta Leela, Mangala Udaye, Mangala Arati Jage, Bhakata Hridaye. All glories to their auspicious Nishanta Leela, which heralds the end of night, and to their auspicious awakening, which brings auspiciousness to all. Glories to Mangala Aratika, which awakens in the devotees' hearts. So when you're singing this, sometimes it's so tired and just kind of rumbling through it. But if you are awake and you're meditating on the meaning, oh, yes, 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 auspicious awakening. Because what's happening now? Now the eightfold daily pastimes are going to begin to unfold. Another beautiful day in Vrindavan with all these wonderful things to look forward to. Right? So, To marani draya jiva nidrita daraya tava jagarane vishwa jagarita hoya. While you sleep, the jivas lie sleeping deep in their ignorance. But upon your rising, the whole world awakens. If you manifest in their hearts, then all tattva and siddhanta will be revealed to them. Exactly. They're in beautiful transcendental pastimes. Then they're awakening. We're in Tamagun during that time. But now it's Mangala Aratika. We have a chance to awaken. And we're being blessed with this beautiful opportunity. And what will happen? Tattva and siddhanta will be revealed. What tattva? Rasa tattva. Right? One day, we're working towards that. Don't reach for a branch too high. Don't think you're there. But it's okay to aspire to be there. It's actually necessary. Now, oops. What happened? Okay, here we go. Shubha drishti kara prabhu jagatera prati jagukar hridaye mora su Mangala Arati. Please bestow your kind glance upon the world and awaken in my heart that most auspicious rati. Right. They're there. They're glancing at us. You can feel that. They're all looking at us. And we're praying that what comes in our heart, rati, bhav, that deep love, the awakening of prem. Mayuras shukari sari kata pikaraj mangala jagara hetu kariche viraj. Then the peacocks, the parrots, the cuckoos, all exist to sing for your auspicious awakening. And when you're in Vrindavan, in America they have roosters, right? But in Vrindavan they've got peacocks and cuckoos, sweet songbirds. Even in Bangalore, in our place, we had songbirds everywhere, right? Beautiful, beautiful birds. Sumadura dvani kore jatta shakigan Mangala Shravane Bhaje Madhura Kujan. Sitting in the branches of the trees, all the birds sing their supremely sweet morning melodies, which resound throughout the forest. Those sweet, soft, auspicious sounds grace everyone. Everyone is serving Radha and Krishna, so they're creating this unimaginably sweet symphony of loving bird song, right? Calls out. And what are they calling out? They're glorifying Radha and Krishna and singing to give pleasure to their ears, to their hearts. Ku sumitra sarovare kamala hilola mangala sorababahe pavana kalola. Kusam sarovara, a place of beautiful pastimes later in the day when the gopis may go there to pick flowers and Krishna may be hiding, waiting to set a trap for Radhika. Or he may argue and tell them, what are you doing here? And then they're arguing back. Anyway, varieties of flowers with lotuses in the center fill the pond and sway with the waves. Breezes carry auspicious aromas of pure delight and joy everywhere. So everything is so kinetic in Vrindavan. Everybody is moving. Braj means that which moves. That's one of the meanings of Braj. And so even in the ponds, they're not just, we went to China one time and they have beautiful parks and lakes and things, and they had this one place where it was all lotuses, but they're just kind of standing up. Not like these lotuses. These lotuses are swaying in ecstasy and distributing their fragrant pollen in the air, coloring and enhancing the aroma, carried by the breeze, right? They're all serving, right? Janjara kang saraganta shanka karatal mangala mridanga bhaje parama rasal. Large cymbals, gongs, bells, conches, karatals, and auspicious mridangas play the supreme rasa. So up until now, the internal vision of what is going on in the heart of the devotee now, and this will be described in a bit, coming out of internal consciousness, awakening to the association of devotees and the artik. He's hearing the artik, right? Beautiful artik. Mangala Arati kore baka teragan abhaga Kesava kore nama sankirtan. Performing Mangala Aratik in the company of devotees, Sri Keshav Das sings Nama Sankirtan. What's not translated is abhaga. Because Keshav Maharaj, Bhakti Keshav Maharaj, just like Narottam, just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all of our great acharyas, when they write, they always express their misfortune, their humility, the most fallen. And when you sing that song, if you think like that, you are paying honor to his internal mood, but you should never think that he's unfortunate or fallen. Actually, he's the most fortunate. But sometimes in some mats, devotees won't sing that line, abhaga. I believe that I was told that Gurudev would not sing that line, abhaga, but they would sing Sri Kesava Dasa, right? But we sing that line with all the other songs from our other acharyas, because it's their expression of humility, which we're trying to honor and emulate. But for Gurudev, because it's his guru, he didn't want to sing like that. So if you don't want to sing it, you don't have to. But you should know why you're not singing it. And if you do sing it, you should sing it with the proper mood and appreciation. Okay. So then, the jiva, now Srila Narayana Maharaj is going to explain, the jiva is constitutionally a servant of the Supreme Lord. Being, unfortunately, the jiva who has fallen into this illusory world, being averse to Bhagavan since time immemorial, is burnt by the threefold miseries in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Only by great fortune does the jiva take shelter at the lotus feet of a Sadguru and follow the path of pure bhakti. At that time, he realizes that Sri Gurudev, Sri Gaurasundar, and Sri Sri Radha Krishna Jugal are the embodiment of auspiciousness for the whole world. The ultimate goal of the living entity is to attain prema for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. The life of that person in whose heart prema for them has arisen is actually successful. This condition is the ultimate good fortune of all living entities. Right? So the Mangalacharana of this song, that first verse, by good fortune, one may recognize that Sri Guru, Sri Gaurasundar, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, they are the embodiment of all auspiciousness. So why wouldn't we want to associate, take shelter of them, show our desire to love, to serve them in love and devotion? When they're waking up and beginning their Leela, we stubbornly stay in bed, right? I'm not going? No. That's foolish. That's foolish. By the mercy of the all-auspicious Bhagavan and his devotees, when a practitioner of bhakti goes on performing pure bhakti, he gradually crosses successive stages. Performing pure bhakti means these limbs directed by Guru. When one is performing the limbs of service under the guidance of a Sadguru, following the scripture and the line of the sadhus, then that activity is Shuddha Bhakti. Our realization of it is less, perhaps, but the activity, you can have confidence in that. Mangala Aratika is Shuddha Bhakti of the highest nature. And through that, we'll cross the stages of Shraddha, Nishtha, Ruchi, and Asakti. At that point, or at this point, Shuddha Sattva, which is the combined essence of the Ladini and Samvit aspects of the Swarup Shakti, automatically manifests in the heart. Then that fortunate sadhak's pure intrinsic spiritual form, the name, mood, and other aspects are also revealed in his heart. So Swarup Shakti is the complete Shakti of Sri Krishna, who is embodied, personified in the personality of Srimati Radhika. But it has three divisions: Sandini, the existence potency; Samvit, knowledge potency; and Ladini, the blissful potency. And there's more to each, just a quick summary. But the combination of Ladini, that pleasure-giving potency, which gives pleasure to Krishna and to his devotees, and Samvit, which is the awareness of who we really are and who is Krishna and what is our relationship combined, that is Bhakti. That is Bhakti Devi, right? And when that enters into the heart, then all that heart becomes softened, right? Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryangsu Samyabhak Uchibhushchitamasanya Krit Asau Bhava Uchite. That Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, when it descends into the heart, and where does it come from? Does it come from the spiritual sky directly into our heart like a lightning bolt? It comes from the heart of Sri Guru, who is the emissary, the ambassador, the merchant, you could say, who's opening marketplaces around the world to give that. And when Sri Guru gives that, and when that is maturing, when it's Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, that combination of those two, then what happens? The heart becomes softened. Softened. Not hard like it is now. And that softening, the three kinds of desire begin to manifest and mature in the heart. Right now we have all kinds of desires that are pratikul, opposed to the loving service of the Lord. But these three desires soften the heart, and the abhilash, the desire is for anukul abhilash, to do everything. I desire to do everything favorable for Krishna. That's all. That's all. And then prapti abhilash. I desire to obtain, to be with Bhagavan, to be that place, in that environment, to go to Vrindavan. And then, most confidentially, Sohrid abhilash. I desire to render intimate service. And so, by the association of devotees who are tatvagya, that means well-versed in the conclusion of Scripture, and rasik, he is naturally attracted to perform Namakirtan with great feeling and to remember Ashta Kaliya Lila. Only in the heart of a living entity who has received such good fortune is Mangala Nishanta Lila manifested. Right? So, the same love-laden Mangala Aratika that the Priyanarma Sakis perform in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan during Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal's Nishanta Lila is specifically bestowed upon the heart of such a sadhak. This auspicious rati does not manifest without the mercy of Sri Sri Radha Krishna or their associates. And until this auspicious rati is manifested, the transcendental Mangala Aratika will also not manifest itself. Therefore, the Bhakti Sadhak prays piteously in great distress to receive such good fortune. Verses 1 through 4. Okay. So, we're going to have to stop here. We got halfway through the song. It's a taste. I'll finish the other half tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. But I'll be in Oregon. But I'll do it, and then we'll post it because it's so beautiful and it's so important. So we'll stop here. And now we should be able to save. We weren't able to save for a few days. So I figured it out. Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Ki Jai, Shri Lalita Devi, Vishaka Devi, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari Ki Jai, Guru Parampara Ki Jai.